Surgeon Meeker threw back the flap to his tent and strode out carrying a sheaf of papers. "We have 2 enlistees by the name of—" He brought his spectacles to his eyes and squinted at the forms they had filled out. "Wilson, Jesse, age 19, and Benjamin, age 18, of Stampers Creek, Indiana. Any relation to Calvin Wilson?" The portly man in uniform eyed them over his spectacles. His white hair made him appear to be a friendly grandfather, but Emily wasn't fooled. She knew her life was in this man's hands. "Yes, sir," she answered, her voice cracking. "What's that?" he nearly shouted. "When an officer asks you a question, you will answer in a manner that allows him to hear you. Now, I will ask again. Are you a relation of Calvin Wilson of Stampers Creek, Indiana?" "Yes, sir," both Emily and Ben barked back. The doctor nodded. "Then it is with a heavy heart that I give you my condolences. He was well respected by everyone who knew him." Emily nodded in thanks. Surgeon Meeker dropped the papers onto the portable desk in front of his tent. "Let's get this over with." He crossed the distance to stand a foot in front of Emily. "Open your mouth wide." She squeezed her hands into fists and complied. "Close your teeth as if you were biting. Good. Good." He stepped back. "Now jump up and down." Emily wondered when he'd ask her to remove her clothing. After she'd jumped up and down to his satisfaction, the doctor placed one hand on the center of her chest and another on her back, thumping first one, then the other, listening through a stethoscope. Emily dreaded the moment he would feel the bindings under her blouse. But he dropped his hands and moved on to Ben without saying a word. After the same examination of Ben, Surgeon Meeker returned to his desk where he unscrewed a pot of ink, dipped in his quill, and scratched his signature onto their enlistment papers. "You are both fit for service. Welcome to the Army." Emily's relief was so great, she thought she might faint. She turned to Ben and found him smiling at her with equal wonder. "Take these to Colonel Milroy's tent to be sworn in." Surgeon Meeker handed them their papers. "Dismissed." They hurried across the dusty camp toward headquarters, staring in wonder at everything they passed. A-frame tents, Sibley tents shaped like upside-down cones, tents that had been fashioned into roofs for small wooden cabins. Soldiers were everywhere, sipping from tin cups as they poked at a campfire with a stick, lying in the shade sleeping, wrestling on the ground with a group of onlookers, cleaning their firearms, playing musical instruments and singing, or playing games with cards or dice. All of this activity didn't even take into account the rows of men in the field beyond doing activities that made little sense to Emily. They looked to be walking around in circles to their officers' commands. From somewhere in the distance came the sound of gunfire, but no one seemed concerned about it, so she assumed it was practice rather than a battle in progress. As they neared the largest tent in the camp, she saw a group of uniformed men sitting on camp stools around a rickety-looking table, upon which a map was laid out. One of the officers looked at them and then smoothly slid his hat off his head and over the map, as though to obscure it from their view. The man who seemed to be in charge, judging by the way the others looked to him, as well as by the shiny additions on his uniform, looked up as they stopped in front of him. He had short dark hair, parted on the left, and combed so neatly he looked as if he was on his way to church. His face was shaved, except for a heavy mustache and a bushy strip of hair on the center of his chin. His critical eyes studied Emily and Ben. "These must be our new recruits." The silence lengthened, and Emily realized they were expected to respond. "Yes, sir," she answered, remembering to speak loudly. An aide reached for their papers, looked them over, then handed them to the officer. "These seem to be in order, Colonel." The colonel got to his feet and approached them. He towered over both of them and ordered them to raise their right hands. "Repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear."